All right, let's just dive right into the problems that they have for your lesson 2 in your chapter 4. So what I'd like for you to do, Kenda, is there's 2 problems here. We'll do 2 problems at a time. We're going to do a total of 8. And then they have their little examples, and I don't know, they don't explain it near as much as I will here. Okay, so please, even if you don't know what's up at all, do your best on these. I know you do know quite a bit about this, so do your best. I don't care if you think, oh, well, I don't know that one, I'll just watch. Don't do that. Please work the problem, and then I'll work the problem, okay? So pause the video and work these two. 55 degrees, negative 270. What are the signs of all the trig ratios of these two angles? And then I'll work them. Okay, ready, pause, go. Okay, I'll work through 55 degrees. I'm always going to draw a little sketch. We'll start off with a nice easy one, right? You're like, okay, well, this one is in what quadrant? 55 degrees. We're always rotating up, right, for positive, or anti-clockwise, counterclockwise, what do you want to call it? So 55 degrees, something like that. So I'm going to always put this point here, and I got my unit circle. Ooh, that's a horrible unit circle. But anyways, this point would be a positive x and a positive y. Am I writing big enough on here? Yeah. So positive x, positive y, and the hypotenuse is always 1. We're always working on a unit circle, okay? And that doesn't matter, really right now, the unit circle doesn't matter. Just as long, if you're at 55 degrees, your point is somewhere in the first quadrant. So everything's positive. Tangent is y divided by x, positive divided by positive. So tangent and cotangent, whatever the sign of tangent is, cotangent will be the same. So tangent of 55 degrees is going to be greater than 0. We don't care what the value is right now. And also cotangent, right? Cotangent, 55 degrees, the same, greater than 0. Sine and cosine, or let's put cosecant with sine, right? Cosecant and sine will always have the same sign, except these special cases over here. I'm sure you remember these ones that give you a headache. But 55 is easy, right? Greater than 0, and cosine and secant, of course, both greater than 0 also. So every time you're in the first quadrant, it's a cinch. Everybody's greater than 0. All right? Okay. Now these are the ones that are fun. They're tricky. All right, they're special. The ones that lay on either, here's the x-axis, y. If the angle, because this is negative 270, so I'm going to go negative 270, the same as if I added 360 to this, right? Add 360 to that, or add a full turn. So if I'm going backwards and then I went negative rotation, now I go positive rotation for a full rotation to come back to the same spot. It's the same as 90 degrees, right? So this is a special one because it lies on one of the axes, okay? So let's imagine so what point is that? What's the coordinates of the point? So every time I'm going to write down what the coordinates of the point are, and I'm going to assume I'm on the unit circle, radius of 1. So this distance here is 1. So my point is, my x coordinate is 0 and my y coordinate is 1. Okay, so this time it takes a little more time, and your book, I think, wants you to memorize a lot of things. You go ahead and memorize them, and I'll work through them here and show you why it is what it is. Okay, let's go with, I'll just start with tangent. Okay, so the tangent of negative 270, let's just go with 90. Okay, let's call it 90 degrees. The tangent of 90 degrees is, remember, it's the y, the tangent of 90 degrees equals, it's always a y over the x, right? Opposite over adjacent. So the y coordinate is 1. Okay, so this one is really hilarious. It's strange, I think, because 1 divided by 0. Now, do you remember in math? We don't divide by 0. You divide by 0, it causes all kinds of problems. So That's called undefined. And you'll see later on when we graph these what this comes out to be when we're graphing the tangent function, right? You'll see what this undefined makes a graph look like. Okay, asymptotes, remember that good stuff? Okay, so tangent is undefined, but so you would think, oh, well, cotangent got to be undefined too. No, cotangent, remember, is x over y, right? The inverse of tangent, right? Tangent y over x, opposite over adjacent. Cotangent, adjacent over opposite. Flip that one over. So that's 0 over 1. So cotangent is 0. All right? Okay, you just got to keep doing these and keep doing these, and it all hopefully makes sense in the end. It will. It makes sense in the end. Okay. And I haven't looked over all your Chapter 4 curriculum. I just glanced at it, and I don't know if we get to graphing trig functions, but that's when you get to see what this undefined and 0 and all this stuff means. Okay, so now just plug away at it and get these correct. So let's see, sine and cosecant. So sine and 90, these you have to do. So we did a nice easy one over here, 55 degrees, and the ones that lay on the axis, they take a while. Sine of 90 degrees. Well, sine is the y over the hypotenuse. And the hypotenuse here is always 1, positive 1. Doesn't matter where it is, the hypotenuse will be positive 1, right? All right, so the y-coordinate is 1. 1 over 1, sine is 1. Sine of 90 degrees is 1. That's the maximum that sine can be. Okay, let's do its inverse, cosecant. 90 degrees, well, it's 1 over y. So that's 1 over 1 again. You could just flip that guy. It equals 1 also. Okay, and cosine. Cosine of 90 degrees is the adjacent over the hypotenuse. And that's positive, right? X is positive. I'm sorry. Oops, be careful. I almost made a mistake. 0, right? The x coordinate is 0. So the x coordinate is 0. So 0 over 1 is this. Ooh, and here's a cool one. So when I do secant of 90 degrees, it's the inverse of this. So it's 1 over x, which is 1 divided by 0. Flipping this over. Can't divide by 0 in math. It messes everything up. It's undefined. Okay, so that's an interesting one. That's why I'm doing 8 of these with you. Oops, sorry, I was off the page there. Sorry about that. Okay, there's a better shot of it. Okay, so negative 270, 90, you can get 4 different degree measures for that same spot. Woo, this is 8 minutes. Okay, so we just did 2 problems. You might have done those faster. If you don't need to watch me doing these, if you know them and you're confident about it, Kendall, you don't have to watch my long, involved explanation. But I'm just giving these explanations, especially for these ones that are on the axes. So here's the 90 degrees, and we'll do the other 3, right? 0 degrees, 180 or negative 180, and 270 or negative 90. Okay. I'm going to end this one, and we'll do the next one.